If there's one thing about me, guys, even when I was a student and I had all these clothing accounts, I never missed one payment. Company sidli fish, spuzi oros. Company senze kanjalo, I wouldn't miss one payment. I did not expect that 2.5 years later, they're gonna come and say that I still owe them money. Why wasn't I told 3 months, 2 months, a month later that, hey, your account is not actually really cancelled? Your account is not actually really paid up. Your account is still active. I have an unpaid Telkom account and it's been unpaid for the past 9 months. Welcome back to Chat with Tessa, everyone. In the last video, I announced the great news about the fact that I finished paying off my home loan, which is all great and well. And after paying off that home loan, my mom proposed that, hey, there's another property that we can invest in. It costs a little more than the one that we have right now, and we're gonna definitely need a home loan. And now I'm a little more comfortable. I've gotten a bit more comfortable with home loans now that I've overcome one and like paid it off. I now feel that actually I understand the power of home loans better. You know, when you start off credit with the unnecessary credit like clothing accounts, you don't see the value of credit. Or when you just have a credit card that you're swiping left, right, and center when you see something that you want to buy, then you don't really truly see the value of credit and what it can bring and do for you. So when my mother said, let's go for it again, I was like, okay, but this is a lot of money now. Now we're in the millions. Like, I'm not comfortable with this. And she's like, calm down. There's a demand for stays in this area, whether it be temporary or permanent, long-term stays. And even we're not fulfilling that demand. So the property is in the same area. So if we buy this property, we will definitely be able to cash in a little more on those people that we have to turn away because we don't have enough space or rooms to accommodate them. All right, so I'm like, okay, fine, let's do this. Let's try this again. So I went directly back to the same bank, my bank that I got the first home loan, and it was the same consultant that helped me with my first home loan. I just sent them an email and said that I'm almost done with the first home loan. I would like to apply for another home loan because at the time I had not paid off the first home loan, but I was close to, like, we were just about to be done. But I thought if they see that we're just about done, it won't be a problem. It's still fine because they'll see that I've definitely been paying over and above what I'm expected to pay every month, and I'm almost done. So I just initiated that application before it being fully paid off, right? When I did that, obviously the consultant will tell me, once again, we need the same stuff, guys. We need the same stuff. We need your because I'm abroad, right? And I'm working in China. I'm not working in South Africa. I needed to provide 6 months bank statements of the bank where my salary gets paid into here in China, my signed contract, employment contract that is, my 6 months pay slips, ID copy, a filled in application form, because even though yes, it's the same bank and I'm asking for a home loan, I have to fill in an application again, and proof of residence, right? A proof of address, proof of residence. So same documents once again that I needed to send. I got a bit of a surprise and a shock, you know. A few days later, my sales consultant from the bank says, your home loan has been declined. Yes, it was a hard pill to swallow. I'm like, a part of me is like, okay, it was a lot of money. Maybe they feel like I won't be able to pay that off. I don't know. But like, it was declined because of your credit score. Like, this doesn't make sense. I've been paying off my home loan so quickly. I've been paying so diligently. I don't have any other debt other than this home loan. What do you guys mean about my credit score? Like, no, you, Theodora Desantlawini, you did not pay off your Telkom account. You have not been paying your Telkom account for the past 9 months. Woma. Now I gotta speak Chinese. Woma. Ni shuo ma? 我听不懂. And it's 360. I don't understand. 听不懂. Like, I verstaan how? Kanjani. I have an unpaid Telkom account and it's been unpaid for the past 9 months. I have to laugh now, guys, because if I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry. This hurts. It has hurt my credit score. It has hurt my credit history, and it has hurt my financial goals when it comes to getting financing from the bank in order for me to move on in my property journey. That is why I felt the need to come here and talk. It's not that I'm here to bash Telkom. A lot of you that are watching right now can probably relate to every other thing I'm about to say now. Whether it be Telkom or another cell phone network company or another credit provider that has done you wrong, Jay, that then affected your credit score, unfairly so, you know? So, okay, I had to calm down, like, think. I'm like, wait, my identity has been stolen. I'm not in South Africa. And we've just undergone a pandemic. People have been staying at home and whatnot. So somebody was able to get a hold of my information and decided that, you know what, they're going to open an account in my name. These things happen. You know, I used to work at cell phone network stores promoting phones and helping people open contracts and all of that. But I wasn't like stationed at one particular shop. So I would interchange between Vodacom, Telkom, Cell C, and all the other MTN and stuff. So I sort of knew the workings of this, and it's easy for people to actually steal your identity. So my first thought was, somebody has gone and stolen my identity. That is what has happened. Then I thought, wait, I have had a Telkom account in the past, but that was before I came to China. That was like 2.5 years ago. But this statement is saying, work from ITC when they did the credit check, it's stating that Tisa, you have an unpaid Telkom account for the past 9 months. That doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it say for the past 2.5 years? Because I've been abroad for this long. Then I remembered, actually under lockdown, I'd get a lot of promotional messages. Hey, pay up your Vodacom account now. And I'm like, what are these SMSs? This is a scam, because I still get my SMSs via my MTN number while I'm here in China because it has roaming. But I know that when I came to China, I stopped using my Telkom SIM card and I canceled all services and I paid up my account. So what account is this that they're talking about? So then I had to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, let's go back to Telkom. Let's go find out from Telkom what's going on. Is this the old account that I had from 2.5 years ago? Or has somebody opened an account in my name? And if they have, can I have some proof of the signature when this thing was open so that I can do my own investigating? The bank cannot do that for me. My credit score will not magically overnight change. As unfair as this is, I just had to go and do my own investigating. When I investigated, we called Telkom. Already it's hard to call Telkom when you're in South Africa. Like, it's already difficult enough to do that. Now imagine having to call them when you're abroad. So we contact Telkom and they're like, nah, you actually owe us money for insurance. you had device insurance and you didn't pay for your insurance, and it accumulated interest, so you owe us like $300 now. Like, this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. I'm also getting SMSs. Going back to the SMSs, I got an SMS a while ago that said pay up your Telkom account. It had the account details and it had a number, and the company was called TraceOnline. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why would I be getting a text message from a company called TraceOnline telling me to pay up my Telkom account, and it has the account details? This looks just like the messages of scams that I've been getting throughout the pandemic. So this does not make sense to me. And when I got the second one, I sent that message to Telkom and I asked them, please verify this for me because this does not make sense. It looks like a scam. When I opened a contract with Telkom, every single communication happened via email. Every single month, I got my statement via email. Every month, without fail. Any other email, because that's what I chose, email. So it didn't make sense to me that I would be getting an SMS, not even from Telkom, from this TraceOnline company that's telling me that I need to pay up my Telkom account. Why wouldn't Telkom use the same method that they've been using to inform me about my balance? Why wouldn't they use the same method to tell me that, hey, you owe us money and it's your account is not fully paid? So anyway, let's go back. When I decided that I'm going to come and live in China, I knew that there was a possibility that this Telkom number will not work abroad. It might not roam, right? And I was close to finishing up my contract. So then I went to one of the branches in Rosebank before leaving, and I said, okay, when I'm abroad, what would be the process for me to cancel this account online without being at a branch? They told me, as long as you have a registered online portfolio, you can do this. They told me the steps. I was set, and I was like, okay, thank you. So when I got to China, obviously Telkom didn't work. Like, there was no use for me to continue having that contract. Like, the cell phone insurance will not cover me because I'm abroad. All right. Number two, I don't need that data. Number three, why should I keep paying for a phone? So I was like, let me cancel this, pay up the balance, and move on with my life, right? Canceled. Online, it shows you want to cancel the device and the insurance and the subscription. It shows you. Canceled all of that, received reference numbers that it's canceled, and I got no more statements from Telkom, right? My account with Capitec was still active, there was still money in there, and transactions from Telkom had gone through. Done! Move on with my life. Everything's great, well and dusted, right? I did not expect that 2.5 years later, they're gonna come and say that I still owe them money. Why wasn't I told 3 months, 2 months, a month later that, hey, your account is not actually really canceled. Your account is not actually really paid up. Your account is still active. You still owe us X, Y, and Z. How did they fail that communication? You've been communicating with me to pay you guys every single month via email, and I paid, right? And they were debit orders. So why, when I'm owing you and still owing you, you can't use the same means to communicate with me? I didn't get that. So now TraceOnline has a different value of how much I owe them. It's something close to 1.5. Okay. Telkom says no, I owe them 300. So I'm like, okay, who am I paying? Am I paying Telkom or am I paying TraceOnline? So we paid Telkom, we paid the 300. And then I said to them, okay, hold on. My name will not magically be cleared just because I've paid this 300. You guys, on your side, there was negligence here. And your negligence has now resulted in me having a bad credit score and credit history, okay? At ITC, I'm coming up as a bad payer who didn't pay their Telkom account for the past 9 months. So you guys need to clear that. That's the wrong judgment against my name. Had you guys told me that I owe you, I would have definitely paid it, but you didn't tell me that I owed you, right? And also on your end, I'm showing you, thank goodness for evidence. Your emails, guys, your emails is where the evidence is. On my emails, I was able to find those 2 reference numbers that showed that I had canceled the services from Telkom, right? So I presented that to them and I was like, also, why is this coming up showing 9 months unpaid and not 2 years and a half? What happened here? How did this happen? You know? So they acknowledge they're wrong, of which a consultant over the phone is seeing all of this and also sees that it doesn't make sense. I have also worked at a call center that deals with mobile services for its particular mobile company, Vodafone UK. Yes, Vodafone UK had customer service in South Africa. And I used to work in that customer service call center. And I know what call center agents can see on the screen. Any communication that the company has had with you, every single time you call, they make notes and they can see it on the record. It's on the record. It's all on, right? So I'm sure the consultant, when they went back and checked the history, they probably also saw where the loopholes were, right? And admitted the wrong on Telkom's behalf. And I was like, okay, but my name needs to be cleared though. You guys need to first send me a paid up letter and you need to clear my name on ITC. And then we can part ways peacefully. But we cannot part ways peacefully with just saying, oh, you don't owe us anymore. No, I need a letter that's going to state that, right? So that if you guys come for me again 3 years from now and say that I owe you guys, I'll be like, I have proof. I have the paid up letter, which is something that I should have had from the first instance when I canceled the services and paid everything up. I should have requested my paid up letter, number 1. And then number 2, I was like, I also need you guys to contact ITC and clear my name. And when I call them, I'm calling to check my history and Telkom should not be coming up. Like, adios, machos, muchos gracias, we're so sorry, right? I waited a couple of days and then I got a letter from Telkom that stated that I had paid up the Telkom account and that it was closed. And they also cleared my name at ITC. And to check that, we contacted ITC as well, TransUnion. We called to see, okay, what debt is under my name? And the only thing that came up was my home loan. So I'm like, okay, great. Now, let's take this letter to the bank. Let me send it to my bank sales consultant for my home loan. Let's process this application for the second home loan. All right, I sent all of that and I had to write a motivation as well as to why my home loan must be approved. What was this unpaid Telkom account about? So I had to write that and I sent those 2 letters. I get my sales consultant from the bank, home loan sales consultant says that they're still saying no. Credit manager is saying no. I'm like, but why? Here Telkom is admitting that it was their fault. It's not my fault and that my name is cleared. Run the check again. Like, I've done everything, but they're saying no. Like, but it wasn't my fault. And here's the thing, guys. Even if it wasn't your fault, as long as there's a bad listing against your name, right? It affects anyone wanting to borrow you money, especially the privilege of the bank borrowing you money to buy property. Not like you're trying to go buy a car or get a clothing account. Those ones, they always find loopholes to get you into things like that. This is a home loan. This is a privilege to say we're borrowing you money to go and buy property that can make you money, you know? So they're just like, no, you're irresponsible. Why did you have a 9-month unpaid Telkom account? I'm like, but it also doesn't make sense. I mean, like, you guys can see I've been abroad for the past 2 years and a half. Like, how would I have an unpaid Telkom account? And you guys can see that I've been paying up your home loan really, really well. I've never missed a payment and I've been adding all this extra money. Like, come on, guys. They still said no. So here are the takeaways from this experience, okay? Now I have the takeaways journal. Okay, so the key takeaways from this, ne, is number one, when you're applying again for your home loan or applying for a second home loan, they will scrutinize your credit even deeper. They'll scrutinize you even more. Because I was like, why didn't you guys pick this up on the first home loan? I asked the consultant, the bank consultant, and it's like, maybe it didn't come up at that time. So at that time, it had not come up yet. But now it has come up. I'm like, okay. So once again, you're gonna need the same, like prepare the same stuff, same documents when you're applying for the second home loan, and ensure that you still maintain your good behavior and paying up any credit that you have, paying diligently, because even when you want to borrow from the bank again, they're going to scrutinize, right? So check your credit score. Do it every 6 months, do it every 3 months, do it like, be on top of that. Check your credit score. Do some digging as to, is there any credit that you might not know of? Because people are stealing people's identities and opening accounts in people's names, and that is but it's your responsibility. You need to check and ensure that everything is up to scratch. And I'm gonna leave the links in my description box, the same links that the bank sent me. You know, when they say we regret to inform you, or unfortunately here and they give their reason. But then what was nice is that they also left me websites that I can use in order to track my credit score and ensure that I'm aware of all the debt that's under my name and all of that, right? So all those links, I'm going to definitely leave them in the description box, and please have a look at them and ensure that your credit score, guys, is proper. You're in the green, okay? If you have ever had a contract, mobile phone service contract, whatever, even if you've paid it up, guys, call and find out, is this thing paid up? Is it done? Is it finished? And if it is, give me a paid up letter. If it's paid up, give me a letter that states that this has been paid up. And what's funny is that I had this knowledge when I had my clothing accounts, when I closed them one by one, the 5 that I had. I closed them one by one, and each time I closed them, I said, I called and confirmed that this was closed, and I wanted paid up letters for those accounts as well. So I don't know why with my Telkom contract, I just believed that everything was smooth sailing with Telkom, and just believed that everything would be fine. Last but not least, fight, guys. If they say you owe and things are not adding up, don't take their word for it. I could have taken TraceOnline's word for it. I don't who's TraceOnline? Does this company and Telkom work together to make people's names bad and make you pay more money than you owe? TraceOnline was like, I must pay 1.5. Telkom is saying I must pay 300. If I just panicked and decided to pay and like just wanted to have a zero balance and thought it would save my problems or solve my problems, I would have lost money because they're not going to give it back to me. I would have to fight again. So I was like, no. Explain this to me. Send me the proof. Send me the statements. Let me look at this myself. And after looking at it, ask them questions like, this doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. And fight. And even if they say, oh, okay, it's all paid up now. Like, no. Not all okay. Go call ITC. Clear my name because you guys were wrong. So if I didn't fight, they wouldn't have contacted ITC to clear my name. So apparently, according to ITC, I do not owe anything to Telkom. But guess what? I still get messages from TraceOnline saying that I need to pay 1,000 something for a Telkom account, a terminated Telkom account. I'm like, guys, I've already spoken to Telkom about this, and they said I don't owe them anything anymore, and it was 300. I emailed them, and they're like, oh, thank you for letting us know. 3 weeks later, I get the same SMS. So what's next for me is I'm gonna try again and apply again with the same bank, the same way, and see if they'll approve my home loan. If something comes up again in the ITC check, that means that I have to go back and fight again and be like, but Telkom, you wrote this in a letter saying that everything was cleared now, so why is there still this bad history on my name about you guys? So as we speak today, I'm actually going to fill in the application for the second home loan and submit it, cross my fingers, hope for the best, and hopefully I want to say justice will be served, because it's not fair, especially when you're diligent with your debt. If there's one thing about me, guys, even when I was a student and I had all these clothing accounts, I never missed one payment. Company sidli fish spuzi oros. Company senze kanjalo, I wouldn't miss one payment. And I never ever called mom or called auntie and said, guys, please help me pay. I went and did the piece jobs. I fought to have the money to pay the next installment for the next month. I made sure. So when it comes to my debt, I'm on top of my debt. I pay, because debt scares me. It's like, yeah, I don't want to be blacklisted, you know. So thank you for joining me on today's session. I hope that there's something that you did learn from this. And if you do have any mobile service contracts or any whatnot contracts, anything, whatever it is that you have, be very careful and stay on top of your credit score, because it will mess things up for you big time. Thank you, Nakansa. Goodbye.